Test. Test, test, test. Ah, do I have sound now? Can you hear me now? Ah, okay. All right. So sorry about that. I've just thought of it was telling me I was having sound issues, but I wasn't sure to trust it or not. Apparently, it really was. So I had to do one thing before I turn it on and off again. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. My own technical issues here. It's very odd that they would do that. I've been having computer problems not all day, but I've been having issues. So I'm working out a plan. I'll talk about it later. And I've got this little teeny tiny guy here. This is a DPC-11. This is a high-tech servo programmer thing, which is supposed to be able to program. I have some digital servos from high-tech I wanted to reprogram, and I cannot get this thing to talk to any of my stupid computers. I've tried 2 different computers. I've tried all kinds of weird things, and it won't talk. And the next thing is I have a cable on order. Maybe it's the cable I'm using. They say you must use a USB 2 cable, and it's because it has it's got a very old USB adapter. I know you probably can't see in there. It's got like USB B mini, I think they call it. And so for some reason, high-tech is using a really ancient USB adapter. I only have like 1 or 2, and it may be too old, and it can't talk. And I really need to reprogram the servo. I actually have another fancier servo programmer from high-tech, but it's an older one. It's not compatible with the servos. So if I can't get this thing to work with my PC, I'm going to have to go buy a regular programmer for not cheap. But anyways, thanks everybody for joining me and suffering through some of my computer problems. I see a whole bunch of people just jumped in the chat. Hey, thanks, guys. I see some familiar names. And hey, Tony, Adam. Speak by interpretive dance. Trust me, Adam, you do not want to see me dance. Me and dancing don't get along. I know a bunch of things. Scroll through the chat real quick while I was hello, Red Panda, quadruple 7. Thank you very much for the comment. I really appreciate it. Thanks to people like you who actually look at the junk I throw up on the channel, that I continue to do this. So thank you very much. Okay. Oh, hey, Raymond. I see you in the chat and some new people. I see some interesting names. These nuts. Roger K. Interesting names. On Approach RC. Mike, Gary, Steven. I'm just letting a few people get in here before I start go off on tangents. Dave. The legend? No, only in my mind. So yes, I have it right here. I've got my picture on the cover. AMA. This was a complete surprise. So I've talked about the Mini Moa, which is the plane you see on here, and the video of the Mini Moa was on the AMA website. You go Model Aviation YouTube channel, and you'll see me. I have a short video of this building and flying it and stuff. And so when I submitted the pictures for the article, I submitted this picture figuring they may or may not use it as a little picture inside somewhere. And then they didn't tell me. It just suddenly the magazine goes public and shows up, and it's got my ugly mug on the cover. Like, wait a minute. And it was funny because I was off on vacation, and I suddenly started getting all these emails and messages saying, "Hey, I saw you the cover." Like, what? So thanks anyway. That was it's been an honor. It's been interesting since I've been in this hobby for a few decades. I started when I was really young in high school, and so I never thought that I would actually be writing for some of these magazines for the model, and B, that I actually would be in them. I've had my mug in a few models. I think early on one time I showed a picture of me in a really old Electric Flight magazine. And I thought, well, that's cool. I'm in a magazine. And now I'm actually on the cover. That's just amazing. And I'm honored and amazed and humbled by that. So, and hopefully my head still fits through doors. What else? Yes. Well, yeah. I usually do a few. Best BEST was just posted. That's in October. That's pretty far away, but I will definitely be going to that one. I usually try to make it to any fly-ins in my area that I can. So there's a few coming up. I know Bomber Field usually has a couple I'll be going to. I may drive around depending on the scheduling to some other ones in the relative Houston area. I will be going to Jonal this year again. That's not really my area, but I had such a good time last year. Me and a buddy are going again this year. We're going to spend a little more time there and stuff. So that's going to be pretty cool. So I can't say exactly what fly-ins I'll be getting in my area, but I usually put some stuff. There's one coming up in a couple of weekends. High Wing Hoedown or something one of the local clubs is having. We were supposed to have a fly-in in our club yesterday, and we got rained out. It was beautiful weather. We said, all right, we're going to have a nice fly-in. And the night, or no, actually the very morning of the day before. So on Friday morning, early morning, I heard a whole bunch of thunderstorms and wind and all kinds of stuff. And I was waking up. I was like, well, that sounds really bad. And we get out to the field, and there's the field is completely flooded with 2 inches of water. And so there's no way I was going to drain out in enough time for our event. So we had to cancel it. Hopefully we schedule it at some other point. Let me get this off the screen here. Yeah, I got a bunch of people in the chat already. I think you saw the LA35 and a Hanger 9 Brave. Accessing. I'm at 46,000 feet. We went to CCs. Yeah, probably in your case, that's probably a good idea. It's made for 20 CCs. I guess we don't mind the engine popping out of the cowl. I don't see a problem with that, considering your altitude. The plane should be able to handle it. It's got pretty decent, I'm thinking of the ground clearance. That's the only thing that may be a little bit of a trouble, but I don't see why it wouldn't work. It certainly, you wouldn't have to have any weight for balance. Actually had to add a little bit of weight for balance with the electric setup. So probably, I'd say give it a try. I mean, really overpowered, or at your altitude, maybe just nicely powered. Glad you liked the factory tour. That video came out better than I thought it would, considering it was made really just with my cell phone for the most part. Not much. I didn't bring much video equipment with me, but it's gotten really good response and really interesting comments. So if you're happy to answer any additional comments you guys or questions you guys have about that video and my trip, I most certainly will answer that. Don't have a whole lot to talk about tonight. I had a couple stuff on the workbench I can talk about. Talk about the show I went to today. That was pretty interesting. That about you and you're coming up in Joyzy. Oh, really? Well, maybe. Don't know how far. Sometimes I do go up to the north for a visit. I actually have a whole bunch of family in Connecticut, of all places. And maybe I can take a day trip out to your field one of these times I go up to visit family in the Northeast. Maybe you send me a message about what field you are and what's your name of your field and that kind of stuff. I always like visiting clubs and fields when I go places. Hello. Let's see what else we got. I got another comment. Thank you, Ron. Let's see what else. Hardly. I'm just a guy with a goofy YouTube channel. That has nothing better to do with my life. Let's see. Thinking perhaps you work. So no, I don't work. I'm not an employee of the AMA. I thought I'd answer this question. I'm just I guess you can call me a contributing author or a columnist. Not even a columnist. Columnists have regular columns. Like my buddy Terry Dunn does the electric column for AMA. He's a regular columnist. In fact, they actually asked me at one point to do a regular column. I told them no, I ain't got time for that. But I do just occasional reviews and other articles. Mainly reviews. I usually get a call from the editor or something like that. Says, "Hey, I got a review. You interested in doing it?" And a lot of times it involves building stuff. so I did. I've done 2 different gliders. I've done 2 different old school model work kits that I had to build. I've done a few ARFs and that kind of stuff. Sometimes they call me to do oddball stuff that nobody else wants to do. Or I've occasionally done articles on non-kits. I did an article on laser cutting. Excuse my phone there. And I did one on something else. I forgot what it was. Oh, small aircraft, 049 powered aircraft, that kind of stuff. So occasionally I'll do random articles on different things. And it's a lot of fun to come up with stuff and submit it. And that's kind of neat to have it published. But I'm not an employee. I'm not on salary or anything like that. Not even on I'm not even considered a contractor that I know of. Man, hello everyone. Hello guys. Just going down through the chat here. I get to see some old friends in there. More factory tours. Well, maybe, hopefully. It's funny. I had a factory tour of HobbyCo many years ago, or somewhat years ago, but that was before I had a channel, so I didn't think to take video or anything of it. And that was pretty cool too. Now, HobbyCo didn't build stuff per se in their factory, but they had a lot of neat stuff that they showed around, and that was pretty neat. Unfortunately, HobbyCo is no longer. They had to file for bankruptcy and were bought out by Horizon. So maybe one day I'll get a tour of Horizon. Who knows? Vincent, yes, it was. It was pretty cool. It's a very fascinating place to visit. Very, very different from life here in the United States. And it's always a nice place to visit, but also nice to know that I live in America. Warbirds in Delaware in July. Sounds intriguing. Let's see. Let's see what else. How's the lifestyle there? Sure. Yeah, there's a couple of different questions about the Vietnam, so I guess I'll go right into it. The factory, how's the lifestyle there? I always wondered. I'll answer this one first. Pretty much, they are back up into full production for the most part. I'd say, based on what they told me, probably about 90% of full production. They had a real tough time out. I talked about this a little bit on the RC Roundtable, but the CEO is real open about how things worked. Understand that during COVID, COVID really affected Vietnam hard, almost basically like China, where the government, remember Vietnam is technically a communist country. So you don't really, it doesn't feel like a communist country when you're there. It's very much capitalist in how they operate, but you still have a central government that, can just at any moment go, and that's what they did. They basically shut down the whole country, and not just shut down like, here in the States where, yeah, okay, stay at home, work at home, or, kind of reduce things. They said, thou shalt not leave your house for anything, pretty much. It's a special permission. And so that hit the company hard, and they actually had to tell their employees to make a decision, either go home, stay home and do nothing, or live at the factory, at least try to produce something. And so I think they said roughly half of their employees stayed at the factory and lived there. So they had to eat, sleep, bathe, breathe, and work at the company for several months while the whole country was shut down. And that's separate from even the ports shutting down stuff. So that was a big deal. And so that's why. So you had limited production and you had problems with shipping. So that's why a lot of the prices went up on kits and stuff, because of the container rates went up like 10 times more than they usually were. So you guys, seeing the prices and complaining, you're worried about, you can see the increase in price. That's why it was such an interruption in the supply chain. And so somebody was asking about the lifestyle there. So I'll talk about that because, like probably many of you, I had a lot of misconceptions about Vietnam before I actually went there. Trust me, it was not high on my list on vacation spots until some friends of mine who are Vietnamese expats that said, "Hey, we're going back to Vietnam for a visit. Why don't you come along with us?" And I'm like, "You realize I'm American, right? You realize we had a war there, right?" They said, "No, it's changed. It's changed a lot since the 70s and 80s, and it's actually a very safe place to visit, very interesting." And so I went. So I've been there several times, and life there is a lot different. If I can think about it, let me see if I can pull up some pictures. I know. Find some miscellaneous pictures here. I will see. I have some pictures locally, and I'll see how fast my. Maybe I'll go back and forth. I'll see how fast my NAS will work over in here. Give me a second to go find where I did with the pictures. I'll be there in 1 second. Just to get a slide, if you've never been there. It's an interesting place in that it's a long trip, especially here. But once you get there, the nice thing is it is cheap. It is dirt cheap to do anything over there. You can get a good meal for like $2 easily. And it's a little warm, but there's very long history. The people are pretty friendly. Where did I? Oh, here it is. Look at the wrong thing. I'll show you a couple of fun things first. Trying to get the extra large icons. All right, so let's see if this loads. Finding the pictures. If I would have thought of this, I would have copied them over before I started. This spreadsheet. I'm sorry, give me a second. I think this is one. All right, so here's a picture. I guess I'll show. Let's see, present. Share screen. Okay, so one of my wife's friends took up. Whoops, what happened? Oh, that's a video. Sorry, hit the wrong button. Let me go back. Took up parasailing, and so we went out to a spot where they were practicing parasailing. And after a while, the instructor came out and says, "Hey, you want to give it a try?" And I said, "Sure, I'll give it a try." So he put me up in the harness. And now this was just a practice area. So they weren't really flying. This was just basically learning how to pop the sail up and manipulate it in the wind. And before you go flying, you got to be able to do it. And it was hard. It was a lot of technique just to put the thing up and being able to manipulate it. There's a video. I don't know if it'll work. I'll play it for a second. And I don't know if this is the right video or not. And I got blown away, and it was hot. I did it for about 10 minutes, and it practically killed me. It was. I have. Actually, I'll have to find another one. There was. I think there's another video. Is this it? Yeah, this is a good one. So I know somebody asked about life in Vietnam, but I was thinking about this one. I thought this was pretty cool. All right, hold on a second. Here we go. So here's when I actually was able to pop it up a little bit. Hello. Why is it not playing? Oh man, it was playing a second ago. Let me hide this. There we go. So it's actually blowing me over and pulling me back. That's not very good. I actually was able to pop it up pretty good for a second or two, but I didn't get caught on video. People keep talking about the power lines too. Those power lines are not nearly as close as they look. So that was a lot of fun. So let me go see if I can find some random pictures of stuff. So Vietnam. I know there's a. I'll show some what I've shown before while it loads these, and I'll go back to the. I got some on a local drive and some on another drive. Hold on 1 second. There we go. All right, so let's say some miscellaneous stuff. So I will go through a couple of pictures. All right, so here's a few. Let me do a present, share screen. All right, so here I'll scroll through a few pictures. These are, hopefully I'm still broadcasting. These are, I'm gonna scroll down, make sure. Okay, we'll be able to see the chat for a second. Whoops, too far. So this is coming off the airport, and I see all these guys wearing these shirts and stuff, and I was told these are basically taxi drivers or Uber. The Vietnamese Uber called Grab, and they have regular taxis, cars, but if you just by yourself or you just need a short hop, you can grab an Uber bike. They have extra helmets. They stick you on the back, and for a really cheap price, they can drive around the city pretty effectively. I rode it a few times. One guy was rather sprightly in his driving, but they were cheap and efficient to get around. I should note that in Vietnam, the motorbikes are king. Everybody has a motorbike, and there's billions of them there. way outnumber cars is these little motorcycle and motor scooter things. Here's a typical outdoor restaurant. You see these a lot. This is mainly what we ate at, is these outdoor kiosk things. This is actually more a fancy one. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but you can see there's a lady in the yellow smock cooking stuff, and the guy behind him. This is actual restaurant. They're cooking stuff. You can see people at the top center. Oh, you can see my mouse. All right, you can see people here sitting. That's their customers. A lot of times they have these. This is actually a larger chair. Sometimes the chair is about half as tall as this. And you're sitting practically on the ground in these little tiny chairs. So you have various foods, and then you go up and you order. Say, hey, I want this or that, or point to it. And for a couple bucks, you've got a pretty nice meal. Outside, there's some restaurants inside too, bigger chains. But if you want, the street food is king there, and it's everywhere. Some random stuff. Believe it or not, there are a lot of Christians in Vietnam. It's, I guess, a carryover from the French occupation. So you see a lot of churches, believe it or not. You see quite a few churches. And there's a Notre Dame look-alike in the city, center of the city, kind of half scale, 2/3 scale Notre Dame, like you see in France. More people taking the Moto Uber. Some typical houses near the city. You see a lot of stuff. A house will be very narrow but tall. So you have 5 or 6 stories, and these are different houses. You almost always see a business on the first floor. Always. Very rarely do you see just a house on the first floor, unless it's maybe around the back corner, a back lot or something. But on an open street like this, 90% of these are businesses. So there's a lot of capitalism going on in Vietnam. Pizza Hut is there with some interesting pizza choices. The city has grown a lot. I was there about 10 years ago or so, and there is a lot of grown buildings that popped up. It's almost like a mini Hong Kong now. There's lots of stuff that was not there before. I was like, where did all these skyscrapers come from? They're building like mad. This building here on the left, I kept calling it Stark Tower. It reminded me of Stark Building from the Avengers. Here's an idea of some of the traffic you will see in downtown Saigon. See, these are all motorbikes here on the side and on the side, cars. We're on a double-decker bus near the Saigon River. It was just packed. And there's a lot of traffic. You don't go anywhere fast there, anywhere near the cities. Another view of the river, buildings. 90% of this stuff popped up in the past 10 years. It's amazing. Apartment buildings, skyscrapers, Audi dealership. If you can buy a car there, you are rich. No ifs, ands, and buts. You are rich or pretty, very upper middle class, because cars easily cost twice as much as they do here. Even a Honda Civic will cost you, I don't know, $60,000 or something like that. It's insane, and they don't make much money there. This is a place where the average person makes about $300-400 a month, something like that. There's part of the Notre Dame I was talking about. I'm doing some restoration work. McDonald's. I actually went to stop at a McDonald's. Probably the most expensive meal I had was at a McDonald's. I think it cost me $5 for this. I got a burger and stuff, but I saw on a little, this is just a piece of paper, but you can get chicken, fried chicken, and rice and cucumbers and salad at McDonald's there. And I had a really nice peach drink with actually real peach slices in it. This is a drive-up restaurant. This lady's sitting down here, has her own little restaurant sitting on the sidewalk. Very basic. I don't know. It's some sort of the sandwich kind of thing. And so there's two ladies here on motorbikes waiting their turn in line to grab a bite to eat. I saw a car pull up too, grab some stuff. So there's little shops everywhere. If there's a spot on a sidewalk, you probably can set up a shop there. I just thought it was unusual. Ford, open market. You can get lots of fresh food, fresh seafood, fresh. This is a back street of a market of just restaurants and stores, little kiosks, sort of taco-looking things, some chicken things I ordered. We took a bus to another town. It has reclining seats in it, a sleeper bus. I thought was pretty cool. Out in the countryside, now you can see the palm trees and more jungle-ish, I guess you could say. This is a house we visited that had some, actually a really nice house, had a gate, couple stories, really open. The house is there, though no central air conditioning, although now more and more of them have some form of air conditioning in their houses, but not the whole house. So they'll open up the doors or open up the windows. They'll park their motorbikes inside the house. I saw this. I thought, hey, neat, it's an electric motorbike. It was plugged in, charging up. There is a resort we went to near the beach that was very, very nice, with little villas. Sorry if this is boring you. I'll go through this real quick. There is some part of the resort we went to. It was very nice. Here I am laying out on the beach. We went to a seafood restaurant. We look in the bowl and say, I don't like the way that fish is looking at me. I'm going to cook them up. So you basically pick what you want. There's different types of seafoods, crabs, fish, clams, odd things. Very modern mall. This was a new mall, apparently built with the help of the Japanese, and it was beautiful. Lots of neat stuff in there. Oops. It's funny. Some of the stuff you'll see them put on a motorbike. That's their pickup truck. So this guy had a bunch of tires and stuff he stuck on there. And this was kind of modest. I've seen much bigger stuff on motorbikes. Some people saw this. This was in Saigon near the market, the big market. I forgot the name of it. There's a bicycle with all kinds of stuff on it. I can zoom in. Ben 10 Market, that's what it was. This is a bicycle. Look at all the stuff all over it. This is actually amazing. What else? Well, maybe that's it. So hopefully I wasn't too boring, but that's a little bit what life is like there. The quality of life is improving quite a bit, but it's still don't have a lot of the niceties we have here. But they're working on it. Hopefully it gives you a little slice of life there. Turn this off. I'll be happy to answer any more questions you might have. Let me go through the chat real quick and I can go back. Let's see. So yes, I'll talk about a few things on the bench. Give me a moment. I'll get into there. Let me just go through the chat real quick. Accounting. T28 Trojan. So yeah, so in the factory tour, he saw that I was there, and I saw that. Do I have pictures of that? I don't remember. No, that's not it. So I got to take an early look at the T28. I thought I had a picture of it somewhere. I'm looking, sorry. Oh, because I didn't copy it over. Oh, I got. Oh, it's loaded. I'm good. So while I was doing that, I was loading. I might have some additional footage or pictures of it. Yes, give me a second. I'm still looking. Oh, too far. Here we go. Almost. People are probably bailing. Sorry about that, but somebody asked about the T28. I know I have a picture of it. Darn it, I thought I did. Where's the Corsair? Where's the T28? Well, I'm sorry. I thought I had a picture of it. Maybe I didn't copy it over. Or maybe before I thought it was. Give me a second. Try one more thing. Pictures. You had to ask me about that, didn't you? What was it? Why is it? Sorry, I'm pulling stuff off of my network drive, and it's a little slow. Oh, okay, there it is. All right, I found it. So I had a couple extra pictures that weren't in the video, so that's why I thought I'd show you guys. There we go. Okay. So I'm really glad I was able to show you this. Let me pop them up here. Whoops, too many clicks. There we go. Okay, I'm going to share it right now. Okay, so I don't have a whole lot of pictures of it, but you guys want to see a few more pictures. So apparently they were, we took a quick look at a few pre-production samples that was going out. I believe these are now stateside being built by Legend Hobby. The team pilots at Legend Hobby. I think they've talked about it. So I got a chance to follow them and take a look and see how they work. This is the wing, and it was neat how the flaps work. There's a recessed hinge point, kind of like here. So when the flaps move, they sort of semi-foulered, kind of. It was kind of neat when I moved them. I thought it was pretty cool. Oh yeah, I got a video. See if it works. So there you go. You can see how they sort of. That looked like it took some pretty clever engineering to work. Whatever. There we go. When they built this, some pretty interesting engineering to build this. That was pretty cool. Did I double click? It's my hand. You've got gear doors. So these are there's multi-segment gear doors. These are the main gear. So you got an inner gear door and a fuselage, and you've got an air brake. This perforated section here is actually a moving air brake. Oh, there's another picture. So I was just holding it up. I think it's plastic. I can't remember. It might have been plastic or wood. And you got other parts of the gear doors. Yeah, there you go. Move that out of the way. There's slots for servos for operating the gear doors. You kind of see them. There you go, servo slots. It looks like they did a lot of engineering into this kit for sequencing doors. Here's a section of the fuselage sticking out. You've got the fiberglass, hardened, reinforced firewall. Lots of space for the nose gear. So some pretty intricate work. There's the side of the fuselage. And it comes in two different paint schemes. This is one of them, the red, white, high visibility scheme, I guess, or trainer scheme. Skip over that. And there's some more pictures, I think. There we go. Here's some more. And you can see here some of the gear doors on the main gears as well. I think there's a couple more pictures. Yeah, I'm just kind of playing around. I believe it's set up for two different sets of retracts, either pneumatic or electric. And here's the other paint scheme. They had a name for it. I forgot what it's called. So they got so this yellow and red paint scheme as well. I think I have a piece out. Yeah, here's a piece out of the package. So it'll come in two different colors. I think that's all the pictures I have. Yeah, for the most part. You can see what I thought was neat is on the retract mounts, you've got two sets of holes depending on the retracts you're using. So they pre-drilled the holes for the two set pneumatic or electric set of retracts. And there's my ugly mug again. DBF. I don't know what that is, and I say no. I don't know what that is. Thank you. It was a nice plane. Nine Valiant. A friend of mine has it now. So yes, I have the. There it is. The stickers. I have some stickers I just got. RC Roundtable. So RC Roundtable podcast. RC Plane. I'll put it in the chat. RCRoundtable.com. So that's the podcast we do. We just recorded and released an episode a couple days ago. We do it every 2 weeks. Myself, my buddies Terry Dunn and Lee Ray, the three of us. We also have a YouTube channel. Check out our YouTube channel. Everything is from that main link. Occasionally do live shows just like this one. Please check us out. Subscribe. We're on Podbean and iTunes and wherever else the podcast goes. My son, love your videos. He's 8 years old. Can you say hello to him? It'll be amazing. Yes, hello to your son. Does he have a name? If he has a name, put it in the chat. Sorry. I love your videos. He's 8 years old. Jose Carlos Rafael Jr. I'm sorry. I would definitely love to say hello, but I don't think you put his name in there. Could you give him some advice about the hobby? Well, first thing is have fun with it. Start simple. Find people that also fly to seek help. Don't try to do it by yourself, and enjoy it. It's a great hobby. You'll have a lot of fun with it. Don't get discouraged if something bad happens. If you crash a plane or break something, learn how to fix it. Keep going. Do not quit. Have fun with it. Wow, we got a bunch of questions. Thank you. Probably because my Electrofly Fokker DR1. Any thoughts? Electrofly. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've had one quite a while ago. It's a rare ARF, which sure is a beauty. Yes. Believe it or not, it's not a bad plane to fly. It actually flies pretty good. Many things get CG. Make sure you get the CG right. Expect it, if you fly off of grass, expect it to flip over and landing. It's normal. Don't feel bad about it. Something else. Be easy on the control surfaces for I think it was the rudder and elevator. It can be a little touchy if you're not careful. I know the rudder is really effective on that plane. That thing can best turn on a dime with just a rudder. Other than that, just follow instructions. It's a nice plane. It was a lot of fun to fly. Flew better than I thought. But yeah, mainly the CG it's top heavy, so it's gonna kind of flip over and fly a little funky. But it flew okay. It was a little intimidating to look at, but it actually flew pretty good. Hello from Indonesia. What's this? New Katy, Texas. I know that. I've been there before. Sure. Love to meet anybody. Red Panda, how to create ultra micro image plane, pitching a Horizon team, looking to making. I really don't know. They have a team just for R&D. Probably a best bet is they're all over social media. I don't have any insight onto research and development per se. I'd say first contact them through the social media. There's some people I know. There's a eFlight. There's a couple of eFlight Facebook pages. Maybe send them a message. Yeah, maybe if you build a prototype first and something that seems to work well, and see if they're interested in it. Just a random thought. Oh, okay, another man. Oh, okay. Jose. Hello, Jose. How are you doing? Hello to Jose. Thank you for watching the channel, and best of luck in your RC adventures. I really appreciate it. All right. So great. So it looks like I got to the end. Okay. So didn't have a whole lot to talk about. Today I went to it's Frank. So today I went to, of all things, a retro gaming convention. And I like retro computing. I'm not really into retro gaming per se as far as game consoles. I actually never owned a Nintendo until very, very recently. And it was only because somebody gave it to me. But so I don't have a whole lot of history other than going to a friend's house. But there's a couple of things I picked up I thought was cool. One was a cartridge, of all things. Basic programming cartridge. It was cheap. I thought it'd be fun for an Atari. This is for the 400/800 Atari computer systems, not the Atari 2600. And I actually have an Atari 800 XL. I thought, well, it'd be kind of neat to play around with the basic language, or just have the cartridge. I thought was cool. And this, I saw a guy playing with this, and I just had to get it. And I posted this on my social media. You guys recognize what this is? Obviously, it's a gun, but need more specific what gun this is. And I saw that, and I saw the price tag too. It was real cheap. And I said, oh, I've got to have this because I had these before and I don't have them anymore, and it's brought back a lot of memories. And it's just a cool looking gun too, so I had to get it just because it looked cool. But I picked it up at the retro gaming thing. So anyways, don't have too much. You can see behind me, Laser Blaster Star Trek. No, not a. You're kind of close with a laser blaster, but it is not Star Trek. I do have some Star Trek phasers, though. I have them actually as a display. I like to collect phasers. But this is, I'll give you a hint, it's from the 80s. And if you're old enough in the 80s or young enough, you likely either had one of these or you wanted one. But looks like nobody wants to guess. Yes, Adam got it. Laser tag. This is a laser tag gun. You pop in a couple of, I don't know, double A's or something in there. And it was neat. It made sound effects. Oh, I should have. I tried opening it. It wouldn't open up for some reason. I don't know if it was glued or what. But it was neat. It was actually really clever design. I'll talk about this for a second. You press a trigger and it shoots an infrared beam at a sensor. You'd have a sensor either on your chest or on your hat, and basically it was a glorified TV remote. You just press the button and the sensor would pick up the beam and beep. They have, how laser tag works. They still have laser tags, but this was a home thing. This was popular mid-late 80s. Had sound effects. It was neat, and it had, if you press the trigger halfway, you could look in the sight, and there was a little red dot would appear in the sight for aiming. And it also had a little switch here for wide beam and narrow beam. So if your adversary was far away, you go into narrow beam, and you can peck them off for a distance. If you're close, if you knew they're going to be close, go to wide beam, and you have more of a chance of hitting your target. It just wouldn't go as far. And what was neat, it was a couple things. We had a group of friends used to play all the time. And since I like to play with electronics, I was thinking, Because you can only press the trigger so fast. I think there was like a 1 minute timeout on the trigger. So you couldn't sit there and go, ugh! You had to go bang, bang, bang. And so I was like, oh, no, that's not going to work. So what I did is I went in and I found one of the capacitors. If I changed the value of one of the capacitors, I could fire it a lot faster. So I did that. I unsoldered and resoldered my own value capacitor, smaller value. And so I didn't tell anybody, but I could sit there and go, and I can rack up much more kills. So anyway, so yes, I cheated at laser tag. But yeah, it was cool. It's such a cool design, and I really liked it. So I'll probably stick it in a shadow box or something, poke it away. But anyways, I got a couple of things on the bench that should be coming up. One will be on the channel. One will be in the magazine. I've got the new Ultra Stick, 1.1 meter. Oh, is it over here? There we go. Can't see where the camera is. I probably should move the camera a little bit. I'll move the camera just a touch for my messy workbench. So I've only had a chance to look at it and fondle it a little bit, but this is pretty neat. The old classic. Apparently they had I vaguely remember they had an Ultra Stick before. They've had several different ones. They had a 25, a friend of mine had, but I think this is a smaller one. And nice all wood kit. So hopefully over this coming week, I'll be able to put it together, make a quick video of it. It looks a lot of fun. It's got the split flaps and aileron, so much like the bigger Ultra Stick, which I reviewed. You can do crow and flap evaders and all kinds of neat stuff. So look for this sometime relatively soon. Oh, there we go. The Flight Ultra Stick. Bind and fly. So it's always fun to have a little stick model to fly around. And you will see. Oh, I opened it. Yeah. It looks like it could be a pretty quick build. There's not a whole lot to it. Just popped it open. You can see it's kind of pretty nice. Sort of transparent red with some white on it. Motor's already installed. So, looks like it'd be very, very quick. Probably assemble it in an hour or less. It takes me longer because I got a video camera there. You kind of see, you kind of find this is neat. It's on its side here is something called a maxi lift. This is what I'm working on now before I can get to the Ultra Stick. This is almost done, actually. I've come pretty far. Been working on it today. This is the maxi lift from Legend Hobby. This will be a review in Model Aviation Magazine, as a matter of fact. This actually won't really be on my channel per se. But what's neat about this, I'll show you, is it's a very utilitarian aircraft. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek at something it has on it, if you're not familiar with it. It requires me of turning on the transmitter. There we go. And I'm going to turn it on. I think it's on. It is on. All right. So I'm going to zoom in with the camera here. There we go. So one of the neat things this thing has is a bomb bay. So you can servo actuated bay there. You can use it to drop candy, army men, whatever you want. Let me turn it on a little more. On your adversaries. And so that's really cool. I just got it working. I still got to maybe tune the doors a little bit, but you can see the servo in there, and some what do you call those, bell cranks. Took a little bit of tuning, but I thought that's pretty cool. And the neat thing is you can put the stuff in either through the bottom like that, or there's actually a top access hatch. Can't really show it. On the fuselage, can you see? Probably the camera's off the wrong angle again. So the top this top piece comes off, and there's a little door down there, and so you can put stuff in from the top or the bottom, which is really pretty clever. Sorry. So that's going to be a lot of fun when I get to fly. This has got a 35cc engine in it. There you go. RCGF rear exhaust, 35cc engine. Plane has flaps, and it has a. Can you see it? I can't really see it. Move the camera out a little bit. Yeah. There is more to it as well. There is I'm looking at got stuff in the way. You just barely see it right here at the top. Is a glider tow release mechanism. So you can tow gliders or banners and stuff with a hook, and it has a servo actuated release on it that comes up from the bottom here. So it's a very utilitarian plane. So that's pretty cool. It's called the Maxi Lift. And look for a view of that. Let me turn it off here. In the future. Yeah. All right. Okay, everybody still with me? All right. Yeah, about an hour. And the camera's way off. Me? There we go. Okay, Jose, what about your feeling flying a Corsair prototype? Do you believe in it? Okay, so yeah, well, I was very nervous about flying the prototype. They're real nice and asked me about if I want to try it and give my feedback on it. In general, warbirds like that, big 60cc warbirds, those are generally for more advanced flyers. Some warbirds are more forgiving than others. And that one flew really good, but you had to it had some warbird quirks, I guess you could say. So you had to be on your game to fly it. So definitely at least an experienced, what do we call that, medium? You have beginner, intermediate. That's intermediate. I'd say advanced intermediate to be able to fly it. There are some other Corsairs that are a little easier to fly. If you use just, you said your son's pretty young. He's like 9. So yes, get very comfortable flying a fast, low wing sport plane. And once you're comfortable doing that, and not just flying around in circles, doing aerobatics, just really comfortable in any attitude. And then I'd say we'll go on to warbirds. And one thing to consider is I have the Corsair. Yes, I did, right? The E-Flight makes a Corsair. It's actually really, really benign. It's really good. I'd still consider it relatively intermediate aircraft to fly, but a low time intermediate would be fine. And so look up the E-Flight E-Flight Corsair is something to consider since it's it's much smaller. So definitely. But that's part of the hobby. It's fun thing in the hobby is you can set a goal and say, hey, I want to fly this plane. What do I need to do to fly that particular plane? And so you build your skills and then you get up to it and you have such a sense of accomplishment. Anything else I wanted to talk about? Like I said, I didn't have a whole lot. I just wanted to talk to you guys. And it's been a while since I had a live show. What else do I have? Somebody else popped up. No, your planes in your RC hangar. Who's the most favorite plane? You must be new here. I'm terrible at answering that question. I bounce around different planes. I don't really have a favorite because I just like to bounce around to different planes. There's certain ones I maybe favor more than others. You know, it's like for EDF, I really favor the Avanti I have. I mean, the other ones fly fine, but I really like the Avanti for sport planes. I've got a Chaos, the Tower Hobbies Chaos, that just flies fantastic. I've got a new. You're asking about type of flying I like to do in the coming summer. So I got an erratics. You saw my video on that, and this one, I think, as far as the summer, I'll probably use to really focus more on 3D. Oh, too close. 3D type flying. I'm only just barely okay with some 3D stuff, and so I'd like to really improve my skills in 3D flying. The camera's kind of close, so I think. Sorry, I think I'll use this erratics as summer comes, and right now it's kind of windy, so it's not as fun a plane to fly in a lot of wind. But as summer comes, it gets pretty calm around here, and I think it'd be a great plane. Maybe something I'll just keep in the car for the most part, so I can fly after work. The flying field is really close to where I work, so it's easy for me to stop out. So probably that. Probably fly the helicopters a little more too. I bounce around, so obviously if you see the channel, you see me fly warbirds, sport, pattern. I don't really do a lot of pattern per se, but I have that's a nice thing about the Chaos is it's actually a classic pattern plane, so I can do pattern maneuvers with that. I don't have a pattern plane per se that I can remember. I used to have some pattern bones I picked up at a swap meet that needed a lot of work and finishing, and I eventually just sold them off. I knew I wasn't going to get to them, but I've flown some club members' pattern planes. A pattern plane is a really nice, a good pattern plane. It's just beautiful to fly. They go where you point them. They're usually very lightly loaded, and they can be really, really nice sport planes just to even as a sport plane just to fly around. So I bounce around. Sometimes I'll think, I'm not that great at this type of flying. Let me go get a plane and practice it. But I just pick whatever my mood says. And I do a lot of different reviews, so I'll obviously go that way. But as personal planes, I just bounce around to different ones. So to answer your question, the answer is yes. Thought about doing a hangar review. No, I don't know. I've got quite a few planes that I don't know. I had to think about it. I don't know about showing all the planes. Some are in various stages of readiness. I've thought about a series of taking a plane that's maybe not, that needs to be fixed or hasn't flown, and doing a quick video of that plane. I was thinking of calling it like Finish It. So I got planes that are in various stages of repair, things I picked up at swap meets that I say, I'll fix this, and haven't gotten to it. I thought it may be fun to have a short video, say, hey, here's a plane I got. Let's go fix it and fly it and see what it does. And I've got several planes that would be a fun plane to do. So if I went through every plane in the hangar, that would be a very long video. It may be boring in some parts, and I've got kits and stuff I'd like to build. So again, trying to find the time. Oh, that reminds me, I had a kind of a question I might ask you guys. Please see you back and forth. Hey, Jim, thank you for seeing you. I look forward to seeing you in the future. All right, thank you. Thank you very much for a nice comment. And that's the thing. I guess I'm going to segue. I'm more busy than I thought. I've had an opportunity to kind of veer off a little bit from model airplanes. And so I'm going to be producing some videos that are not model airplane related. Now, when I started this channel, I specifically called it HobbyView. I didn't call it RC HobbyView, and I didn't call it RC model review. I didn't call it model airplane review. I call it HobbyView because I have a lot of hobbies, not just airplanes. And so I figured I probably would have other videos, not necessarily RC models. And in the past I have. If you looked at my history, if you go to the videos and look at my video history, you'll see RC cars, some stuff on boats, some stuff on plastic models, even a few things. I did a robot dog. I did some Raspberry Pi kind of things, some Arduino kind of things. And so I have a few things in the works that will be along those lines of not RC models, but still hobby related, but more esoteric things. So hope you don't mind that kind of stuff. We'll see how it works. I know it's probably not a big thing for some of you or some of the viewers, but because it kind of keeps a little variety in the channel. So I like your opinion on that. If you think that's something I should continue to do, or should I just stick with RC model stuff? Because I do like science and technology, and so I've got some stuff that's more science and STEM based stuff versus just RC airplanes. So I hope I'll do a few, and I hope you will find it as interesting as I do. In fact, I just got something in that I need to see how we're going to do a video on that, and it's not at all RC model related, although it could be. So a lot of stuff I do could have RC model applications, but I just like to do weird things. But anyways, let's see. There's any. Oh, speaking of weird things, I was at a swap meet, and a friend of a friend said, "Hey, you got a few bucks or so in your pocket? I got something you might be interested in." And he shows me this, and this is something that dates back to the 90s. This is one of the early electric helicopters. This is made by Kyosho, called EP Concept. This actually has just a brushed RC car motor in it and the old school gyro, and he basically almost gave it to me. I couldn't resist. So this might be something there will be something I'll restore at some point. I had one a long time ago, and it was kind of fun to fly around, and I sold it. Kind of wish I kept it. So I got another one. And it was funny because it's missing the canopy. I poked around on eBay, and through the powers of eBay, somebody in France had a brand new packaged canopy. So now it can look like a real heli. So I got this and some spare parts. I'll probably try it on the brush motor first, and then probably stick a brushless in it. I doubt the brush will do all that well, but with lithium batteries and lighter weight, it may do okay. So I'm very curious to see what it'll do on a brushed motor. And just kind of fly around. It's not anything super aerobatic, but for nostalgia reasons, I thought it'd be fun. Because I used to do a lot with electric helicopters back in the day, back in the good old bad old days of something. So we're kind of. Well, thanks, Rip Panda. I know you told me your real name. I forgot what it was. Somewhere up here. But thanks for the comment. I appreciate it. You said your date, so you're one of my younger viewers. That's great. Thank you for the comment. Yeah, I think so too. I think lighter radio equipment and very much lighter battery pack. It probably will fly okay on a brush motor. And then I might just stick a brushless in it just because brush motors are for maintenance reasons. Although it'd be fun if I found like an old Astroflight Cobalt motor or something to stick in there. And I actually may have some old brush motors. These, since it's a car motor, it undoubtedly needs a hotter wind motor to fly. But I have some old, anybody remembers the Mega motors? I think I have one or two of those I might use. Those were in-runner brushless motors. They were relatively high kV, but nice little motors made in Czech Republic. And I've flown some direct drive airplane stuff off of it, but they tend to do pretty well some of the helicopter stuff. Let's see. Hell, I'm looking for a racing prop plane of 1.5 for lush grass. Racing prop. I don't know. Because was E-Flight used to have a racing plane, but I don't think they have it anymore. They had because there was actually a racing class. I forgot the name of the racing class. They had one. I'd have to look it up. I thought Tower Hobbies or somebody had a racing plane, 1.5 meters. Because that's a class. Now you got me curious. I don't think they make it anymore. I forgot the name of it. I'm sorry. I'm drawing a blank. I know I can't remember the name of it, but it sounds like you're asking for the, I think they're about roughly 1.5 meters. That is, give me a second. Let's play Stump the Chump. 100 millimeters. 50-inch. I don't think it was that big. Roughly 60-inch span. V900. Oh, somebody says the V900. That might be a good candidate. Let me look it up. I forgot about that because the V700 and the 900. V900 band and fly. I am looking it up. Give me a second. No, it's still small. It's 900 millimeters. He said 1.5 meters. This is V700. Anybody in chat has an idea what he's looking for? Oh, was there another one? Airplanes. Why didn't fly? So I thought they had two sizes of it. The 900 sounds like the smaller one. I thought they had the bigger one with retracts and flaps, or at least just retracts. There it is, V1200. So they have a 1.2 meter racing plane. Sorry, take a sweet time to load. Yeah, so the V1200 is the one I found. There used to be another racer, and I don't know if they still make it. Airplanes, almost ready to fly. Give me a second, see if it's still around. Oh, there's Aramaki. Somebody's asking me about the Aramaki. I haven't quite gotten to the turbines yet. I'd like to. But it's not my thing yet. Yeah, look at Tower Hobbies. I understand one was at a local fly-in here, but I was out of town, couldn't make it to see it. So let's look up. We're doing this. You can join me. Shop airplanes. Almost ready to fly. I'm not seeing it. It may have been discontinued, but they had a was kind of like a shoestring racer or a Formula One. Formula E, that's what I'm thinking of. Ah, I just remembered. Let me type it in. It's Formula E. Not Formula 3. No, Formula E is the like the. Is Formula E the like the Indy car? Am I thinking the wrong thing? Wish I could remember what it was called. I had a big one version of it, and I don't. Hey, there's a Strega. You want racing? These are kind of racing planes. The 55-inch. That's a little bit under 1.6 meters, just a touch. And this was an actual racing Reno racer. You think would that fit the bill? Let me go back to the chat. Oh, I got the wrong wrong screen. Excuse me. I just realized that stop screen. I'm gonna go to the right screen. There we go. Sorry. The scale racer. That is right around probably 1 point. That's pretty close to 1.6 meters. I think that's what he said. 1.5 meters, excuse me. Let's see. Glow engine for gas or glow? Nowadays, gas, petrol gas for the larger stuff. Use any of the things that usually fly glow. I can fly electric. I'll fly electric. Now I do fly some glow, especially 049s, 061s, the little half A stuff. I will fly that glow just because I'm crazy and I like the nostalgia of it. But that's not that often. And I do have some glow stuff. I actually have a P38 sport, like a profile P38 twin glow. I need to restore and fly. But for the most part, it's either gas or electric. Hold on a second. Truth, I'll send you the link. There you go. Just post a link for you, Mr. Truth Still Matters. Yeah, Michael, we were just talking about that. I had some pictures up earlier I was showing of me taking it out of the box. It looks really nice. Whoops, excuse me about that. It actually looks really, really nice. It's got some nice features. Working air brake, sequential gear doors, some interesting flaps. I think it has either a sliding canopy or a moving canopy or something. Something's in a canopy. I think can be servo controlled. I think. I had to double check on that. But it looks really nice. Some really good engineering in it. I have no idea how it flies. I have not flown it, so I can't call it on a flight. But it looks really good. I believe it's 30cc plane, if I remember correctly. Those are good questions. This glow engine is dead. There's nothing new about the issue. However, we see a lot of new petrol gas. Glow engine is not dead, but it's certainly in a minority, I think. You've got electric, which is a lot of stuff from small to medium size, and from medium to large, there's gas. I think which really impacted glow now is you can get really small gas engines. So you can now get 9cc, 10cc gas engines, which will fly 60 size planes, even sometimes 40 size planes. And glow has gotten pretty expensive. If you want to buy a gallon of glow fuel, it's going to cost you a bit of change to do that. So many people are just saying, well, I'll just go with gas, even though glow has more power per displacement than gas does. It's just the fuel's gotten expensive. And one interesting thing, when I was in Vietnam, there was no glow engines. They said they can't get glow fuel there. So it's really, really hard to get glow fuel. So everybody just flies these gas planes for the most part. Gas is cheap, and maybe some electrics. That's just the way it is. Now it depends on the country. You know, here in America, we can still fly glow. I still see some glow planes at the field. I have some too. I just don't fly it all that much. I got some four-strokes that I like. In fact, I have one I want to build, another four-stroke glow, just because reasons. All right, let's remove that. All right, good truth. Glad you found that. I had in Shooter 9. What was this? Shooter 9R was glow crash. Plus that nostalgia plane. Darn thing was so fast. There were some nice things about glow, the sound, and especially multi-engines are really neat. Four-strokes sound really neat. Michael, what are you referring to? Oh, T-28. Okay, sorry. I don't know how many servos are needed. Because of sequencing doors, you're going to need more than normal. So figure one servo for all the control surfaces. If they go by how they usually do things, you'll have one servo for the rudder, two for the elevator, two for the ailerons, two for the flaps. So that's what, 2, 4, 6, 7. If it's electric, I think 2 for the gear doors, 9, I think a 10th for the air brake, possibly an 11th as an optional one. And that should be it for the electric version. So I would figure 10. Well, even the air brake is kind of optional. So a minimum of 9, I would guess. Maybe. I don't know about the nose gear, may be sequential. So maybe an extra one. So probably scheduled for 10, 10 servos until proven otherwise. I haven't seen the manual. I'm basing it on what I saw and what I'm remembering. But should be nice as electric, the T-28. I know we had the Sky Raiders. There was an electric one that flew around. It flew pretty good. But it's, you're talking a 30 cc equivalent. So you're probably going to need at least 8 cells, probably 10 to 12, depending on what you want for power to fly it. So just plan accordingly. But there's engines like that. There's big ones. I got one right here. Here's things are falling all over the place. I got this. I've had this. This is a Turnigy G1.6. Basically, it's 1.6 cubic inch. So, what are you talking? 30 cc, roughly 25 cc engine. So, it's a pretty meaty motor. I want to put this in. I think I'm going to put this in my yak. I got it a plane that I'm going to load up with batteries and big props and try to fly it fast. And so I got this motor on the thing. I'm going to. I was working on it. And I had to stop it because I couldn't. I bought it at a swap meet and it was missing the wing tubes. But now, after a trip to Seagull Models, I have the wing tube because it's a Seagull Models model. And so I was there and said, do you have a wing tube for this plane? And I said, yes, they do. So it's fit in my suitcase. I only had to travel for 20,000 miles to get to it. Or 15,000 miles, something like that. Okay. Some good questions. Making your own fuel saves a little, gives you access to fuel mixes you can't get it. Exactly. Yes, you can make your own fuel and you can do your own custom mixes. Most certainly. Oops, turn it off. I get a new mouse with this computer. It sucks. All right. So, hey, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I don't know if I have anything else. If you got any last questions, I'll give you a couple seconds to, if you have any last things. Didn't have a whole lot to talk about tonight. I'm going to have to see about if I can do a little bit more work on the maxi lift, maybe. get a few more hours on that. I was hoping to. What's funny is it's got 2 servos in the back, and I can't use a. If I use the servos, one of the servos needs to be reversed, and that's why I was trying to play with this servo programmer to reverse one of the servos, so I wouldn't have to use a separate channel on the receiver because it has so many different servos in it. And I can't get it to talk to the computer, and apparently that's a common problem with this. I'm going to try one more thing. I ordered a cable from Amazon, a newer USB cable, because they were adamant, so you must use a USB 2 cable. And so hopefully it'll come in tomorrow. If not, then I'm going to have to order their fancy servo programmer that's non-computer based. This just requires a PC. You got to plug into a USB. Here it is. Got to plug it into a USB cable and plug it into the servo and stuff. I was really hoping this would work. Here we go. So come on, high tech, get your act together. Servos are great, but your software is a little wonky. So I don't know. I like to kind of sort of do them once a month, roughly. It's just one of those things, kind of whenever I remember and whenever I feel like it and whenever I have something to talk about. I appreciate you guys. I got a pretty good crowd in here. So I'm glad you're asking about that. That sounds like you like it. I always worry about these live sessions, like boring people waxing lyrically about toy airplanes, whether or not people are interested or not. But I thought maybe just kind of give an update. It's been a while. Like, I figured people might be curious about what things I'm working on and what's coming up on the channel. More stuff is coming up on the channel. I've got kind of a backlog of stuff pretty soon. I got a couple things really cool, and if I can, hopefully you'll enjoy them and find them as interesting as I do. That are coming in currently in the mail. I'll take this tape off here, and hopefully I can get to them fairly quickly. What else do we have here? Yeah, we talked about that earlier. I've got it right here. For those who are just popping in, I'm the cover girl for Model Aviation with my glider here in America. This is an American magazine called Model Aviation. This is the official magazine for the Academy of Model Aeronautics, the national organization for modelers in America, RC modelers, that is. I was honored to be on the cover for this current issue. That's pretty cool. Although I think they just announced the next issue is coming out, so my reign of Supreme is coming to an end very quickly. But it was an honor. It's pretty cool. Thanks for asking about it. Got another question here. What kind of aircraft should a beginner get? I love old bombers in World War II. Well, don't start with old bombers in World War II as a beginner. Those come later. You want a trainer plane. There's a couple of good, really nice ones. There's the Aero Scout and the what's the tip of my brain? I can't believe I forgot it. Apprentice. Aero Scout and Apprentice are two very, very good models. There are various flavors of those. Pop over to your local hobby shop or to Horizon Hobby website. You'll see them there, or Tower Hobbies. Very, very good plane to start. You want something that can fly slow, has some sort of self-correcting ability to it, easy to go, just electric. Both of those kits, the Aero Scout and the Apprentice, comes as a ready-to-fly package with transmitter, battery, charger, that kind of stuff. You can get both of those like that. The Aero Scout is interesting because the motor's in the back. It's a pusher, so it can take a lot of abuse and not hurt the motor and that kind of stuff. So, and also go to your local flying club if you have one. I highly recommend it. And then you can start learning to fly. Most clubs will provide, if you join a club, they'll provide you an instructor to teach you how to fly, and go with that. That'll save you heartache on your plane and heartache and make it easier for you, make sure everything's set up correctly, and you have a lot of fun. I highly recommend that. Hopefully that made sense. Then you can work your way up to bombers and World War II. There are some World War II that actually fairly easy to fly. Somebody mentioned a T-28. So U-Flight has their own T-28, several different flavors, and they're all actually quite easy to fly. Technically, it's a warbird, a trainer bird, and you can work your way up. But as I said to somebody before, you want to start with a trainer, then you probably want to go with an intermediate plane that's may not be scale, but it is mid-wing or low wing that's faster, maybe a little heavier wing loading, something to sort of work your way up to a warbird. I usually would recommend a warbird as, say, a third model for the most part, relatively speaking. Go with a trainer first, then go with a sport plane that's aerobatic, and then get a warbird. And life would be a lot easier for you. And you got a couple extra planes, too. And then bombers, I have a bomber I'm working on, but bomber is not something I've really flown much. I'm afraid I'd get bored of a bomber, but I do have a couple of different ones I want to fly. Blue Hellcat. Yes, I still have it, and I still fly it. I don't fly it that often, but every once in a while I'll pull it out because it's a neat plane to zip around. It's pretty fast and pretty sprightly. I only wish it had flaps. It's one of my only complaint about it. It's like, why didn't you put flaps in that thing? Other than that, yeah, that's too bad I discontinued them because it is a nice plane. Maybe they'll come back with flaps. Transmitter setup. So I'm not quite sure what you mean by that question. I prefer mine with sticks. I don't know if you mean brand or what, but relatively speaking, it's really personal preference. It's really up to you how you like to fly. Of course, you have your standard controls, throttle and rudder on the left, aileron, elevator on the right. But your switch position is really what you like, and tension and that kind of stuff. So. All right, then. So it really bugs me that I can't take the door off of this thing. It really, really bugs me. Excuse me a second. I'm going to find a screwdriver. I know I got batteries or something. Yes, I got it. How many batteries? Wow! 6 batteries. I thought I had a couple double A's I might be able to use it, but no, 6 of them. I don't think I have 6 batteries. So I was going to put some batteries in it, and I got some batteries here. Hold on. See if we can make a sound. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 6 batteries, but I don't know their charge state. So before I go, let's see if I can make it do anything. I have 6 batteries of unknown charge state. The envelopes. Double A. Oh, alkalines. Okay. All right. And nothing. Oh. Kind of. Did you hear that? Oh, yeah. It's not lighting up. There's supposed to be a light right here. But it works. Oh, a little red light works too. I am a happy puppy. That's cool. I think the light bulb burnt out though. Ooh, probably put an LED nowadays. Oh yeah, put a nice bright LED in the sucker. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm a happy puppy. My laser tag gun works. And all right. Oh, brand. Oh, okay. All right. So I guess I'll answer this last question before I go. and the batteries are dead. Well, right now, my preferred brand is Spectrum. I have a Spectrum NX10, which is my best radio I have right at the moment. For the longest time, I used a high-tech Aurora 9. Aurora 9. That was really, really nice. Of the first gen or second gen, first and a half gen, 2.4 gigahertz transmitters, Spectrum stuff. It was a really super great transmitter. They did a really good job on it, but they got out of the transmitter business. For me here in the States, the Spectrum is just sort of the de facto standard. All the bind and fly stuff. A lot of people use them in the field. Lots of user base. So for me, I have a lot of bind and fly stuff, and it's easy to download profiles and it's transfer. For me, it's the most practical one. I do have some other brands. I have a Futaba. I still have the high tech. I even have a JR somewhere around here somewhere. So that's for me my preferred brand at the moment. So now there's other good brands. There's other good stuff out there. If you're adventurous or if you have a good user base, I know the FPV guys, like I think Radio Master is real popular with those guys. That's only 2, 4, 6 as well. There's some of those are very, very highly customizable, although they have kind of a steep learning curve. But it's a lot of it's personal preference. A lot of it's what's common in your area. If you're new to radios, sometimes it's better to go with a brand that a lot of people around you are using, so you have people you can ask questions on how to do things, and they can help you out. Versus somebody who's more experienced in radios, they're more free to experiment with different brands and that kind of stuff to meet their needs. I'm sorry, my desk is a mess. I need to clean this up. So anyways, thanks everybody. I've been yakking long enough. I need to go off and do some stuff. Thanks everybody so much for joining me on this live chat. Thanks so much for your patronage on the channel and great questions. I'm really surprised all the questions I got. And stay tuned. I'll do another live show at some other point in time. But click this off. Everybody have a nice last end of the weekend. And hopefully it'll be a good week, productive week for everybody. Hopefully for myself. And on that note, thanks everybody. I will see you later. Peace out.